at 11. I'm Samantha Serbin. Barbara and Jason have the night off. The nation has hit a new record of coronavirus hospitalizations today. More than 90,000 Americans are spending Thanksgiving in the hospital battling the virus. And with cases and deaths on the rise on a holiday weekend that lends itself to big gatherings, Camilla Bernard has the latest on the pandemic and the warnings from health officials.
The spread of COVID-19 on Thanksgiving Day will not be seen immediately. Instead, experts worry about the coming weeks.
We are fully expecting the next few weeks to be brutal, and at this point, honestly, we just want to get it over with. We know it's going to be awful. We know that people are going to die.
Going into the holiday, coronavirus cases and deaths were already soaring and hospitalizations were at record levels.
It's grim to talk about these things, but it's a reality.
The average number of daily new cases across a week in the U.S. was the highest record on Wednesday, and more than 2.5 times greater than a previous peak in late July.
Too many people are traveling and getting together in close quarters, and I think there's nowhere to go but up, unfortunately, with this number.
And the average number of daily deaths across a week is the highest it's been since mid-May.
A bad day is when people are dying and you can't do anything to stop it. And with COVID, that is most days.
Nonetheless, many are grateful for the lives saved and the heroes that deal with the pandemic, even on holidays.
I am thankful for my fellow healthcare workers. I am thankful for the people who suit up every shift and who know that they are walking into hell and they choose to walk in anyway.
I'm Camila Bernal reporting.
In Georgia, more than 413,000 coronavirus cases have been reported since the pandemic. Nearly 242,000 people have tested positive for the virus total. While state health experts say those numbers are heading in the wrong direction, they're also saying it could get much worse. Education and health leaders are bracing for an influx in COVID case reports as state public schools already deal with high numbers. In Alabama's schools, leaders say they're seeing more cases from community spread than school spread through contact tracing. The Thanksgiving break means extended time off and potential holiday gatherings, which in turn leads to more cases.
Like after the 4th of July, we expect there's going to be a bump and a rise of cases. There's no doubt it's going to happen. Monitoring the children as best we can for symptoms. We're encouraging, again, parents to keep their children home if they have been traveling, if they have potentially been exposed to someone, or if the children are showing any kinds of symptoms.
Nursing staff say parents need to be on high alert Sunday night for their kids showing any symptoms, and those nurses will also be on high alert when students come back Monday. In the meantime, Alabama State Education Superintendent says preliminary reports indicate more than 5,000 students have not shown up for any sort of classes, virtual or in person. Dr. Eric Mackey says they're likely to have a hard time catching up, and the enrollment drop could mean the loss of hundreds of teachers. That's because the state funding formula is based on enrollment. Dr. Mackey says he's hoping the legislature will make a temporary change to avoid that. He says one possibility might be basing it on average enrollment for the past couple of years. And you've probably finished eating your Thanksgiving dinner by now, but have plenty of leftovers for tomorrow. The CDC estimates 48 million people get sick from foodborne diseases each year in the United States. Here is some advice you need to keep in mind so you and your family can stay healthy while eating those leftovers.
Clean, separate, cook, and chill.
Those are the 4 things you need to remember as you prepare and clean up from your Thanksgiving meal. The CDC estimates 48 million people get sick and more than 128,000 are hospitalized from foodborne illnesses each year in the U.S. Meaning on Thanksgiving Day, you really need to make sure things are done right.
I mean, you don't want your guests to get sick either, so just make sure that you prepare those foods according to the directions.
But it's not only important to prepare your food right, but keep it safe to eat leftovers later.
Well, you should refrigerate it within 2 hours. The bacteria is going to grow between 40 degrees and 140 degrees. So you want to put it away in a shallow dish so it gets cooled quickly and put it in the refrigerator before you take a nap.
What exactly needs to go in the fridge or freezer? Pam Kirkland says anything perishable.
A lot of your baked goods can just stay out. Of course, depending on what ingredients are in that as well.
Health officials say the rule of thumb is to try to take in all the leftovers before the Monday after Thanksgiving. Kirkland says anything in the freezer can last a bit longer, and if you do happen to feel ill,
if you do feel sick to your stomach or have nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, you want to stay on clear liquids. Call your healthcare provider, try to rest, and just take it easy.
remember, all food, whether it's the first go around or the second, third, fourth, all needs to be heated to an internal temperature of 165 degrees. And now taking a look at our Alpha Insurance Skycam overlooking uptown Columbus. Looks pretty nice out there tonight. Let's get a check of the weather with meteorologist Radek Shagowski.
Hey there, yes, good job on my last name. All right, we're talking about those visibilities quite low, 6 miles there in Columbus, half a mile in Fort Benning, same thing in LaGrange, so take it slow out on those roads. We're looking at a stationary front that, again, is parked over the Chattahoochee Valley, so we have a changeable weather situation wherever you go in terms of how it feels out there. If you're stepping outside, let's say south of Columbus, south of Highway 80, it feels a little more muggy. If you're towards the north around the Interstate 85 corridor, it feels a little bit better. The air is a little lighter per se, and those temperatures are much cooler up there as well. 40s to near 50, while we're in the 60s along Columbus and down towards Fort Benning and Eufaula, and even upper 60s down towards, let's say, Albany. Now, we are tracking some more rain chances that are on the way. We will let you know what's coming up in that holiday weekend and beyond coming up.
All right, thanks so much, Radek. Well, 3 separate homicides are being investigated in Sumter County this holiday. Starting with the latest murder, authorities found a person deceased on Middle River Road in Americus around 12:30 this afternoon. Sheriff Eric Bryant says 49-year-old Richard Pitts was struck in the head. Bryant emphasizing there is no evidence of a gunshot wound. And another scene around 8:45 last night, police say 35-year-old Kendrick Williams was found shot to death on Lester Street. 2 hours earlier, police were called to a shooting in the Rainbow Terrace area just after 6 yesterday evening. The victim was dead when police arrived on scene. The suspect is in custody and is being held at the Sumter County Jail. All 3 murders are under investigation. Stay with News Leader 9 on air and online as we learn more. You can also download our free news app in the Apple or Google Play Store. And right now, Black Friday shoppers are getting ready to line up outside stores trying to get the best deals. Some are getting creative and finding ways to pass the time, while others say safety and social distancing are their biggest concern this year.
I wouldn't stay in a big line. For safety reasons. I just think it's too risky and it's not worth that. If I felt unsafe, I would leave, but everybody here is pretty safe, so so far.
If you were wondering what stores were open this Black Friday, we have you covered. We have a list of stores open tomorrow and their Black Friday hours on our website, WTVM.com. And 'tis the season to shop local. Businesses in downtown Auburn are gearing up for their version of Black Friday called Blue Friday. Jessica Cohn, the coordinator of Auburn's Downtown Merchant Association, says it's one of the biggest shopping days of the year for small businesses in town. She tells us retailers will be open early at 8 a.m. Central Time for deals and doorbusters, and says this is the perfect opportunity to support your favorite local shops and spots this holiday season.
A lot of them are going to give you gift cards to like the first 25 people in line. You're going to get a better experience when you come and shop with a local business. And not only does it, are you supporting a local business, but you're also supporting your local community with the tax dollars, going back toward right here in Auburn.
Cohn says parking is free Friday. They also have a holiday passport event happening now where you can mark off each time you shop at a local business. They'll be choosing 5 people to win more than $150 of downtown gift cards. Coming up on the news at 11, President Trump talks the possibility of conceding and what would make him do just that. Just ahead. President Donald Trump, despite multiple weeks of challenging the results of the 2020 election, gave some clarity to his willingness to concede to Joe Biden. Today, the former president spoke with reporters about supposed fraud during the presidential election and what it may be like for him to concede to the president-elect.
It would be a very hard thing to concede because we know there was massive fraud. So as to whether or not I can get this apparatus moving this quickly, because time isn't on our side, everything else is on our side, facts are on our side. This was a massive fraud.
While multiple states have rejected the president and his legal team's lawsuits about voter fraud, Trump continues to hold on to unproven claims.
From WTVM Storm Team 9, home of the exclusive, always live News Leader 9 Mobile Alert Center, sponsored by Headquarter Nissan. Here is meteorologist Radek Jaguski.
The holiday weekend is underway, and looking at your Saturday and Sunday, we could see that it continues to remain unsettled and rather warm. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s, and again, Sunday being that wetter of the 2 weekend days. But again, not everybody will be seeing rain all the time. So right now we do have a stationary front that was a cold front, and then it stalled out and parked itself over the southern half of the valley. That is why we're seeing a discrepancy in some conditions. But one thing that we aren't seeing is any rainfall out there. We are seeing some fog, though, starting to develop. In fact, Columbus right now is a 6-mile visibility. Fort Benning and LaGrange, half a mile. Richland, 3 miles. So definitely take it slow on those roads if that fog does roll in or you run into that fog. All right, 61 in Columbus right now, fairly mild, down towards America, 64. Albany, 67. But you notice once you get further north of that stationary front, you're into the 50s and even 40s north and west of that I-85 corridor, and it's also feeling much better up there in terms of that humidity. So the highest futurecast does indicate that we'll have more showers rolling along the stationary front into tomorrow on your Friday. Again, we're going to see a 20 to 30% coverage of those showers and storms. They will be in and out. They won't be as widespread and heavy as they were this morning on your Thanksgiving. And then into Friday night, we do increase those rain chances as well. So for tonight, very variable temperature forecast. We're in the 40s towards the north, 50s, and then 60s towards the south. You can see LaGrange 48, Columbus 55, and even some low and middle 60s down towards Americus and Albany. Now, we also are tracking that temperature map for tomorrow because it'll be rather warm as well. A low to middle 70s, that is pretty good for your Black Friday there, but if you're heading out shopping, definitely grab the umbrella. Now, the Alabama versus Auburn Iron Bowl in Tuscaloosa features quiet weather. It won't be raining, 50s and 60s on that map. And a sneak peek for you at what we're looking at for early next week. If you like the cold, look at this. 20s for those wind chills, potentially going into your Tuesday, and you'll see what I mean here on our 9-day forecast. We're looking at, again, an unsettled weekend, Sunday night being the wettest time frame. Monday, temperatures drop, and Tuesday, Wednesday, 40s and 50s for highs. And those low temperatures, they will be in those 20s and 30s. Bundle up. We will be right back.
Despite the surge in coronavirus cases across the country, people are recovering, and tonight we bring you stories of local survivors. Back in April, News Leader 9 shared with you that Barbara Gauthier's sister was hospitalized with COVID-19. She was on a ventilator for 30 days and spent weeks in the hospital before finally going home a survivor. Tonight, an update on how she's doing.
Well, the coronavirus certainly affecting a lot of families here in the Chattahoochee Valley.
During a time when COVID had just begun to ravage the country, I learned just how close to home it could hit.
Meet my sister, Debbie Hewling. She's a healthcare worker who is fighting for her life right now.
Thousands of you sent messages of encouragement and prayed for her recovery. It was early April when Debbie was admitted to Piedmont Columbus Regional Hospital after testing positive for COVID-19. Even though she had no symptoms, she did have underlying health issues, and her condition quickly worsened. Within days, she was on a ventilator fighting for life.
And I remember the first day of being in the hospital. Other than that, I think I went in on the respirator like the next day. I don't remember any of being on the respirator.
For family members unable to see or really talk to her, the concern and fear intensified. But in June, after more than a month in the hospital, followed by 2 weeks at regional rehab in Phoenix City, Debbie came home.
I just thank God for everything, because He plus the doctors brought me through. Plus all my prayers, all my well wishes.
Though Debbie doesn't remember much about her hospitalization, a lot happened that she missed during that time, including the birth of her first grandson.
Elijah was born. I'd never seen him before. I never laid eyes on him. And I wanted to. And I just wanted to get back and see my family.
But nearly 6 months later, recovery is still a struggle. Although most days Debbie says she feels good, she still deals with fatigue, tingling in her hands, and overwhelming anxiety.
I'm just afraid. I feel scared. At first, when I first got home, I was afraid to go anywhere. But I have a fear. I'm getting out. I'm nervous. I'm afraid. I social distance. I wear masks. But still, they say you can get it again. I don't want to.
But there's also sort of an inherent fear of when is the next shoe going to drop.
Carrie Burcham, the chief nursing officer at Piedmont Columbus Regional, says Debbie's story is not unusual. While health experts are still learning about the after effects of COVID, he says anxiety is common in many former patients.
I would say it parallels what I've seen and experienced in my years in healthcare from an individual that experiences any kind of severe illness in their life. It changes you, and it changes your thought process.
It has certainly changed Debbie, and while she continues to battle the after effects of COVID, she holds her grandchildren a little closer now, hopeful but cautious as she looks to the future.
COVID is no joke. It's no joke. Anybody can get it. Anybody. And anybody can die from it. I was blessed to come through it. And I thank the Lord for that. He's got something planned for me. So, but I just don't want COVID to be part of that. Be part of his plan for me or anybody.
Debbie is reminding everyone, especially as we approach the holidays, to stay safe, wear a mask, social distance, and wash your hands. To see more on Debbie's story and recovery, go to our website, WTVM.com. We're so glad she's doing better. Coming up, it's time to hit the hardwood. The Auburn Tigers open the season tonight. Dave has your highlights.
WTVM Sports Leader 9, Dave Platter.
Yeah, it's time to take it to court. The Auburn Tigers getting the college basketball season going down in Florida as part of the Fort Myers tip-off. The Tigers taking on the St. Joseph's Hawks in their season opener. And a double-digit lead disappears. 59 seconds left, Auburn up 80-79. Ryan Daly misses the free throw, but Taylor Funk gets the putback. St. Joe's is up 81-80. And then Jalen Williams getting his pocket picked right there by Demir Bishop. Break the other way, and it's Funk again. Tigers are down 3 with 37 seconds to go. Bruce Pearl tells his guys, hang tough. They do. 20 seconds to go. Auburn down 80-42. It's Williams jamming it home to tie it at 84. We are going to overtime. 1:10 left at OT, tied at 91. The Cambridge tray clangs. Tigers, though, rebound, kicking it back out to Williams. He drives and puts it home, 93-91. Hawks try to answer. Funk for 3. Nope. Rebound by Justin Powell, and that would be that. The Tigers, 96-91 winners. They'll take on top-ranked Gonzaga tomorrow. Now, the Carver Tigers are coming off a dramatic win over Troop last Saturday. Now, the Region 2 4A champions have to get ready for the playoffs and turn that second straight region title into something even bigger. Jonathan Hoppy tells us how the Tigers are riding that momentum.
From a last-second touchdown to the Georgia 4A playoffs, undefeated Carver enters the week with plenty of momentum.
It was a good game, both teams. We just never quit, so it good fight from us going to the playoffs, a good game to show that we're going to fight for all 4 quarters.
Actually playing in the game was kind of difficult. I feel like we actually needed, as a team, we needed some adversity to face before we head into the playoffs, make sure we have the confidence in ourselves that we can compete.
The Tigers overcame a 16-point fourth quarter deficit to claim the region title. Now it's on to the next game.
It was a hangover. It was a long hangover because everybody congratulating you, thanking you for being region champs and everything. So we just made sure that we got these guys back focused on now the task at hand because everything else done changed.
Carver has been a playoff mainstay in recent years, but the team hasn't won a state title since 2007. There's one key to getting it done this year.
Main thing, consistency and injury-free, you know. That was a big emotional game, and also we got dinged up a little bit in that game as well. So, you know, getting our guys back mentally focused on what they got to do and just trying to stay injury-free.
Personnel is very important, and especially the film and the study and dedication. You know, we have to be very consistent in everything we do because now we're running deep in the playoffs now.
Carver hosts Jenkins on Saturday night. In Columbus, Jonathan Hoppy, WTVM Sports Leader 9.
All righty. Hey, what's Thanksgiving Day without some NFL football? The Houston Texans taking on the Lions in Detroit. First quarter, J.J. Watt picks off the Matthew Stafford pass, turns into a 19-yard pick six. We'll go to the fourth quarter to give to Duke Johnson, and Johnson laterals it back to Deshaun Watson, and Watson finding Will Fuller on the fourth of his TD passes on the day. Texans win it going away, 41-25. Meanwhile, it's a rough day for the home team in Dallas as well. Washington snapping a 10-all tie in the second. Alex Smith to Logan Thomas on a 5-yard TD pass, 17-10. Fourth quarter, Washington pulling away. Antonio Gibson breaking free, taking it 23 yards, the second of his TDs on the evening. Mike McCarthy thinking, here we go again. Well, it got worse. The cherry on the top of the Turkey Day Sunday, Big Montez Sweat with an interception and a 10-yard pick six. Washington a winner, 41-16. That's a look at sports.
All right, thanks, Dave. We'll be back after the break. Missy and Barry Buchanan usually spend Thanksgiving with their children's families, either in Texas or California, and the entire family gets together for Christmas. So the couple felt a little bad about canceling this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Then the idea came to them to surprise their extended family with, get this, a life-size cardboard cutout of themselves. Their 3 older grandchildren now have fun posing for photos with the cutout around the house and out in the yard with their chickens. Get some chickens for your backyard, guys. Ronnie, before we go, can we get one last check of that weather?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, we're talking about a changeable 9-day. First, we start tomorrow. It's not as wet as it was today, but still a rain chance in there. Sunday night looks to be the wettest time frame. And then Monday, we still get some storms in here with a significant cold front. Look at that next week. 40s for highs on Tuesday with lows in those 20s, guys. So really bundle up and get ready for a shock.
A shock for sure. I think I'm going to need to pull out some sweaters, some jackets. That Floridian me is not ready for that cold weather for sure.
You'll need the jacket. Maybe you'll probably see the gloves and hats out there. Yeah.
It's football season. What do you want, right? Of course, we got playoff action the first week of playoffs in Georgia. We have a few teams at home, a few teams on the road. Tomorrow night, we'll be following with our last sports overtime of the season.
Yeah. Well, a lot to look forward to.
Indeed, you have the overtime. You have the Iron Bowl Saturday in Tuscaloosa.
Iron Bowl Saturday too. Yeah.
Looks dry, 50s, so pretty good. Yeah.
Football weather.
Yes, indeed.
All right, everybody. Well, that's all for tonight. Be sure to wake up with News Leader 9 tomorrow morning.